What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and today I'm checking out the SRM 1168. This also is kind of part 2 of the November 2022 Going Gear unboxing. If you didn't watch that video, basically what happened was they shipped out the premium box without this knife and then shipped this about a week later because of some shipping issues. They just hadn't received this yet and didn't want to delay the box since they had the premium knife. Now, if you had the standard subscription, they did delay the box because this was the main item. So kind of a lose-lose situation either way. Either you got a box with the missing item or you got your box really late after they had already charged you for the next month. And so I think the main thing most people are upset about is that they didn't just send out an email. If they just sent out an email letting you know what happened, I think most people are pretty understanding of shipping delays, especially this time of year. And so kind of a missed opportunity there for them to kind of get some goodwill. But now it's resolved. I think most people are fine with it, but hopefully a lesson learned for if it happens in the future. But this knife, the SRM 1168, is a really cool knife for budget price. You can get it right around $40. And the model name is 1168. They don't do names, which is a little bit unfortunate. I think marketing wise, it would be a lot more beneficial to them to come up with some sort of name for this, even if it's something simple, because when you're recommending a knife to someone, something like Elementum or Bug Out or Paramilitary 2, they're all memorable, they stick in your head, but just a random series of numbers with no significance, 1168, isn't something that you're likely to remember. And so I have another knife from them as well, the SRM 7228, and so I'm almost positive if someone asked me in a week about this SRM knife, I'm not going to remember the specific model number. I'll know one's a flipper and one's their ambi lock, but the model name is going to escape me. And so just in terms of marketing, I think they should change the name, but small point. Otherwise, a really, really solid knife with a lot to like. It's decent size at 7.8 inches, and the blade on here is 3.39 inches. D2 steel drop point style blade, nice shape to it, really nice belly on it, and it's a little thick at 0.12 inches, which is nice. So not super thin, but also not too thick either. 4.41 inches on the handle. The handle has kind of a blocky look with the cutout for the liner lock, but it doesn't look super comfortable, but it's actually really comfortable. Your finger sits in that liner lock section, cut out really well. The flipper tab acts as a finger guard. The ramp on here is perfectly placed, and the jimping on there is super effective. No hot spots whatsoever, full 4-finger grip, and surprisingly really comfortable, much more comfortable than it looks. And so I like the blade shape on here a lot. The handle doesn't really speak to me, but it's comfortable and effective, which is what matters. I do really like the accents on here, so in the lanyard hole as well as around the pivot. Not sure how well that's picking up, definitely a little bit, but there's this really nice deep blue, probably aluminum around those that just kind of adds a nice pop of color. It would be nice, actually they did add it on the lanyard hole backspacer obviously, but not the rest of it. It would be nice if they kind of continued that out on through the backspacers, but really nice pop of color. I also think their logo looks pretty nice. You can see it a little bit better on the box at SRM in the triangle. It's also stamped there in the pivot. I think they have a nice looking logo. It does have a pocket clip that's unfortunately not reversible, pretty deep carry, but not reversible, so right hand tip up only. Would have been pretty easy to make that reversible, so that's kind of unfortunate. I don't use pocket clips a ton and I'm not right-handed, so it doesn't affect me, but otherwise a pretty ambidextrous knife, so would have been nice if they included an option to reverse that to left-hand carry. Now, it is on bearing, so the action's really nice, the detent's perfect. There's no jimping on the flipper tab, which I think would be a nice addition. It's not necessarily that your finger slips off it. It's pretty slippery, but pretty easy to use also, and doesn't wear down your finger a lot if you're just fidgeting with this. The flipper tab also stops it when you're disengaging that lock pretty early on, but that doesn't make too much of a difference. It just stops it pretty early, but really nice action on it again. There's also this thumb hole, which is nice because it didn't just drill a hole into it or cut a hole into it. There's a little bit of ramping on there that looks, you can see it kind of ramps down, so there's 3 layers there. It gives you really nice access to that thumb hole, and you can reverse flick it or regular flick it really well. And so everything about this knife, I think, is pretty good at $40. I'm really happy with this knife. One thing that's kind of unique experience to these going gear boxes, well, I guess it would be with any knife box that you get multiple knives, is when you get the premium box, a lot of times when you get a knife as the premium item, you're getting 2 knives in the box. And so it's really difficult not to compare the two. So this knife is right around $40. The knife that came in the premium box for the same month was the Concept Warrior. This is a custom version for going gear. Super high-end materials, really just good looking knife. And so hard not to compare the two knives. Obviously, when I'm holding them side by side, I prefer this one. Even though this one's a really great knife at the price, I just prefer this one. So it's a little bit hard to separate that sometimes when you're getting them in the same box. But looking at this from a standalone perspective, it's a really solid knife. And unfortunately for SRM a little bit is this is the second SRM knife that's come in a going gear subscription. I think the last one was almost a year ago. I want to say it was December of 21's box. And that one came with the SRM 7228, which has their version of the axis lock called the Ambi lock. And in the same knife, the premium month for that month was the Benchmade Mini Adamas. And so you got the Benchmade with its axis lock and kind of a mini version of it with, well, not really a mini version of it, but a smaller knife, the SRM 7228 with its Ambi lock. And again, it was just not as exciting because you got this really cool Benchmade in the same box, and obviously the quality is going to be better on the Benchmade, and the quality on this Concept for a $200 knife is going to be better than the $40 SRM in the box. But again, both knives, when you look at them on their own, really cool knives. But it is just kind of a unique experience, I guess, when you're comparing the two, which you wouldn't really have if you were just picking up this knife. I would definitely recommend, if you like the look of this knife visually, if it fits kind of what you're looking for, check it out at $40. I think it's a really good knife. I'll put a link to it in the description, and it's a little bit hard to find on Amazon because they don't even have the model number listed in the product title. It's in the description and that sort of thing, but in the title I don't think it says 1168 anywhere, but I'll put a link there if you're interested in checking it out. But if you have this knife, if you got it in going gear this month or you just bought it on your own, let me know what you think in the comments below. Even if you don't, let me know what you think. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And as always, I hope you have a great one. Take care.